Hello, YouTube. It's me, your boy Jordan. I just thought I'd give you a real quick update on life. So I posted a video a couple weeks ago talking about how I was getting ready to go for surgery, and then there was some complications because the doctor's office forgot to get the authorization for my hysterectomy. I finally did get that authorization. It was about a week later that they got the authorization, so really quickly for what it could have been. And then my doctor was able to, she got the authorization. My surgery was scheduled for a Monday. She got the authorization for on Wednesday, and they were able to get me into surgery on that Friday. So it really only put my surgery behind a week, but it felt like forever. The big thing that changed during that time was I had done some research and got a little bit more concerned about leaving ovaries behind. Um, I don't know why, but it kind of was foretelling that I did because the day of the surgery when she got in there was some complications. I'll go into that a little bit here in just a minute. But I'm going to kind of relive and go back to the actual day of the surgery. It was really weird because every other time I've had surgery, and even I've had surgery at this particular facility, it is a Catholic facility, and my hesitancies with it is that because it is a Catholic facility, they don't always want to do things like recognize my wife, even though she's legally my wife. They sometimes, I mean, they're supposed to, but you never know how people are going to react. Um, there was some concern because normally when I have any type of medical procedure, they let my wife go right back with me, and I get really super anxious about catheters, IV catheters specifically. And they actually, the nurse that took me to the back to get everything started told her she had to wait in the lobby until they had me completely ready. Now, every single other surgical procedure I've ever had, and I've had one at this facility and like countless other facilities, I've never once had them ask if she stays in the lobby. Now, they've done things like say, hey, is it okay if she comes back? But they've never flat out told her that no, she cannot come back with me. So I don't know if that's a new policy, if that's a not recognition thing. I don't know. I'm a little upset about it. My wife was a little upset about it. I'm gonna talk to my doctor. I see her tomorrow because it's been about 2 weeks now. I'm gonna talk to her tomorrow to see if that's the normal policy, or if that was something was up with that. But it just was really weird. So I had to get my IV catheter in, get it all prepped, do all the clean. They make you wipe down with these special wipes, do all that without my wife in there. And normally she helps me do all that stuff, and so it just really it felt wrong. And so, but the lady got the catheter in the first time, so it wasn't a ton of time. It was like an hour from when she took me back to when my wife could come back, and then it was like another 45 minutes to an hour before the doctor was done with her previous procedure and was able to come in and do her. They have to do a pre-op exam to do her pre-op exam with me, and then she forgot to click something or check something or sign something, and so they had to track her down, which took an extra 20 minutes. And the way this particular hospital works, until every single piece of paper is checked off or at least documented in the computer, they will not take you to the OR. And so it's not like they can even take me to the OR and then have her sign it there. They wouldn't even take me until she signed that piece of paper. So it added like 20 minutes waiting on her for them to find her. And in the end, they notified her and she just filled it out on the computer and everything was good. I had previously talked to the anesthesiologist about the fact that I vomit profusely. It just is when I have anesthetic procedures. I see my toenails and it goes on and on and on. And so they put the little patch behind my ear, and they gave me stuff in the IVs, and they were pretty much giving me every drug they could throw at me. It's like from the time I woke up from anesthesia to the time I walked out the door. As soon as they were able to, they were having to give it to me to try to keep it under control. What was weird is I threw it violently twice, like mega violently, and even with the medications on board. And after I threw up the second time, I was able to just, I didn't eat or drink anything else because I was not going to. And then my stomach kind of calmed down, and when I got home, I was able to eat. It was just something about being, I guess at the time, the anesthesia had time to wear off. So, my wife was not able to actually stay for the entire procedure because she had to go pick up our children from school. And then when she was driving back is when she got the phone call from the doctor saying that the procedure was completed and everything. When my doctor came in the room the next day, let me back up. So anyway, so she got a phone call from her and told her the procedure was completed. Then she dropped off the kids at my sister's house, and then she came back up to the hospital to wait with me and, see how my recovery was going. At that time, we didn't know if I was going home that night or not. I ended up not being able to, not because of the pee thing, because I could pee, it was just because I wouldn't stop vomiting. And so there had been complications in the procedure, so the doctor had just assumed that I was going to stay. There was other things that went on with my sister's kids. They were sick or something, so my children weren't able to spend the night. So then my wife ended up having to leave the hospital and go pick up our kids and take them home. And then she came back in the morning with the kids to pick me up because that was Friday night, so it was Saturday, so they didn't have school or anything. The only issue the nursing staff was great. They were using the right name, they were using the right gender, things like that. There was one point where my wife had been telling me the whole time that I needed to stand up for myself, because I'm one of those people that I'll let you I don't let people run over me. I just don't really say, no, I need this. And so I was trying to do my best about speaking up, saying, no, I need pain meds, no, I need things like that. I was also trying not to take the opioids just because I have a weird relationship with them. I'm not an addict or anything like that, but when I was growing up, my parents' solution to pain was to give you medication. My dad had 3 back surgeries, so he had access to pain medication. And I suffer from migraines, so they didn't know what else to do for me because I was a child with migraines, and so they shoved pills down my throat, and they were, big guns. And so now I have a sensitivity to pretty much every opioid out there. I itch like crazy. I get hives. I've yet to have respiratory problems other than I really do get the respiratory depression from them. Like, even one dose is enough to make me start having issues where I just don't breathe deeply enough. So I think that I wonder kind of if the extreme nausea and the everything was because I was still in pain and I just wasn't speaking up, or what. But so I had tried to make sure that I was talking more, so that did kind of help. The night nurse I had was I was taking Toradol IV, and I had access to Tylenol, but I couldn't keep anything down to take the Tylenol. So the nurse was hesitant to give me. They had a way to give me an opioid, but with a sensitivity because I have hives, because I have itching. He was hesitant to give me it because he was afraid that then I would proceed to having other issues with it. So I can understand his hesitation. I was fine not taking it. I think because he was focused on the fact that my heart rate was like in the 110 range the whole time that I was there. But I think that was because I was in pain and I had a huge headache and everything. But the one part where I really, so it was good that I was able to actually communicate and tell him what I would take and what I wouldn't take. But at the same time, my pain wasn't completely controlled, and that was partly my fault. But because of my choosing, not because of them not trying to help me. I will say there was one point, and my doctor specifically put me in a room that was a single person room, because of the fact that I am transgender and this is it's an OBG wife, whatever floor, and so she put me in there so that I would have some privacy. At one point, the charge nurse, I guess they were looking for more beds or whatever, had come in and asked if they could move me and if that would be fine or not. And I did speak up for myself. I was like, if it's a double room, no, because I have, my family will be coming back at some point, and I'm transgender, and I don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, I'm laying there in a gown. I got TMI, but you get blood coming out of places because, they just operated in those places. So, luckily they were willing and they listened to me instead of just trying to do what they wanted to do anyway. They were respectful in that regard. And my nurse, he was fine. He was great, actually. He'd laugh and joke with me when he could. And then my, I guess, I don't know if it was an orderly or nurse's aide or whatever. I don't know what they were called. I know his name was Jordan because we laughed about the fact we have the same name. But I don't know what his position was. But he actually is gay, and so we were laughing and joking and talking and kind of bonding on that. And apparently I'm his first transgender patient, and he wouldn't have known I was transgender and blah blah blah, all that. But we were having fun. So even when I know it sounds weird because I'm talking about puking my guts out, but then I'm having fun. But that's just me, because I'm already having a bad day and bad time. I might as well not make it horrible for you. So, so that part of it wasn't. It wasn't the best, but it was, at least it was nice. So then that morning rolled around. My doctor was there around 6:45, 7 o'clock, because she had to catch a flight. This is also my doctor's. Her own father was in the hospital in California, and because her office had messed up my previous surgery, she literally did my surgery on Friday, came in to check on me herself to make sure I was good to go home, and they got on a plane to fly down to California 2 hours later. I don't know very many people that would have done that. Very many surgeons, at least. So I really do appreciate her. But back to the actual surgery. So what happened is, we had talked about taking ovaries out if there was something wrong, but then at the last minute, I say earlier that week, when she actually confirmed that they were able to do the surgery, I had talked to her about, why don't we just go ahead and take out my ovaries? And she's like, okay, we can, because you just have to stay on testosterone until you're at least 50, and then you can decide from there. I'm 43, so yeah, I've got to stay on it for a whole 7 years. I plan on staying it forever if I can, but So anyway, it was a good thing we had decided that, because when she got in there, apparently, so what started this whole process was that I had a lot of pain when having orgasms, and a lot of other symptoms that I did not realize were related to the issue. When they had done a ultrasound and found out that I had a fibroid, which is a non-cancerous tumor in your uterus. You can have big ones, you can have little ones. Mine was a fairly large size one. And so what they originally were looking for when they found that, though, was something called endometriosis. The scan did not find endometriosis at the time. Apparently, though, when she did laparoscopic and out the vaginal canal. Um, so when she was in there, she found quite a bit of endometriosis to the point that my ovaries were fused to my uterus. So it was a good thing we decided that we wanted to take them because it made her life a lot easier rather than trying to pry them off a uterus and not damage something. As well as the fact that when you have endometriosis, uh, any estrogen at all um, is enough to cause or potentially cause it to continue to grow, and then you end up with more pain and such, more digestive issues. I know it sounds weird, but it messes with your digestive issues, things like that. So it was a good thing that we had decided just to go ahead and take everything. At this point, it's been. I had the surgery on Friday. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday because tomorrow's my post-op. It's been 7 days, and I'm still having bleeding. Okay, so what I had, or no, not 7 days. It's been 10 days. I'm still having bleeding. I was told that around day 10, I was told by my sister because she just had this procedure, that and reading and everything, that it is normal to have breakthrough bleeding. But I was told by my sister around day 10 you'd have bleeding, like a lot of bleeding, and I have. It's not enough to fill up a pad, so I haven't been too concerned about it. Oh, I did have to go to the walk-in clinic this weekend because I have UTIs like crazy. I'm lucky that way. And I was having very classic, okay, this is a UTI symptoms, and so went in and sure enough, got antibiotics and I'm feeling much better. But in the meantime, I have been noticing that the pads, even with that taking into account, I've been having a lot of bleeding, and so, but not enough for me to be like concerned and go to the doctor. I am contacting her. We have a thing called My Chart, which allows me to communicate directly to her. It's a little email system that, like on different. I mean, you can download it in the App Store, and if your doctor's office is associated with it, you can use it. But it's called My Chart. And what it basically looks like, logging in here, it basically looks kind of like that. Shows you who your doctors are, like shows I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. It gives you test results, like my testosterone ranges, things like that. So it's actually kind of nice because it gives those things. It allows you to communicate directly to them. And then if you have a non big deal thing and you need to see the doctor, or even if you have a big deal thing, it allows you to schedule appointments. If there's an available appointment, you can schedule it online instead of having to call the doctor's office and do it. You can, if you have time limits. I'm digressing. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm talking with her on my chart, and that is allowing me to stay in communication with her. So I'm not too worried about the bleeding because I know that I could contact her if I needed to. Other than that, life is okay. I'm still having a lot of pain from the surgery location, but I'm not sure if that's gas, intestinal pain, if I'm still having UTI issues. I can tell you, I did have quite a bit. I did a bowel prep And then I did have quite a bit of issues with the getting constipated around day 5, maybe 6, which is really funny because I thought I was on it because I was taking the meds trying to not have those problems, but I still ended up getting constipated. And oh my god, I would have thought I was gonna die. And I seriously was considering whether or not something was wrong. I was just having so much pain, and you couldn't touch my belly without me wanting to cry. Finally, though, I was able to have a bowel movement, and then after getting a bowel movement, I started, things started getting better. So I definitely feel like I'm on the upswing. I just wish the bleeding would stop. This is getting really long, and I know that YouTube says that, I only like videos around 20 minutes, so I'm gonna end it. I'll do a follow-up in another week or so. I'm off work for a total of 6 weeks right now, so I've got nothing better to do. Y'all have a great night. Remember, you're loved no matter what.